So my next question, what does masculinity represent to you?
Masculine represents the warrior and something that's strong and firm, but as well that has the calmness and the softness about him as well. So he's like the warrior, but yeah, he stands up strong. Yeah.
Masculinity for me is about control, about being direct sometimes and getting things done. It's the side of me that is, it's associated with my ability to perform an action. But the masculine can also be, a source of, it doesn't necessarily need to be overly strong. There can be like a stoic gentleness to masculinity too.
Thank you.
Masculinity. So I guess there's a lot of different parts to it, but the one that comes to mind first is the physical sort of aspect. And the reason that I say that is that we've got two young children, 10 and 8, two boys, and when they were really small, when they were babies, we noticed them playing next to babies who were female, who were little girls, and our boys and the other boys that they played with, we noticed they were really, really physical. So they're always touching, hitting and pushing and wrestling and doing those sort of things, whereas the little girls seemed and tended to be more sort of aware of what was happening around them. They would talk earlier, they would learn to speak earlier than the boys, and this is sort of pre having role models and this is before they'd had a lot of exposure to something that might define a path for them as men and women or boys and girls. Yeah, and so that's why I think there is a very strong physical aspect to masculinity. Lots of other things as well, but that's probably the strongest one to my mind.
Okay, thank you.
Well, being masculine for me is being able to display leadership, strength, courage, conviction, and then being compassionate and being able to forgive. You go through a lot in life, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of success and a lot of failures. But you can't succeed unless you fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you've got to have the ability to get back up and have a go again when things go wrong for you. I've made it and lost it 5 times, so I know all about that. Yeah.
Being masculine, to me it represents an inherent, like when you feel with your heart, when you feel the energy around masculinity and femininity, when I go into the core expression of masculinity, it's just a strength that is inbred, inborn as an expression of nature. There is no, for example, when we say 1 + 1 is 2, there is no identity or ego about it. It just is, right?
Yes.
Same thing with the sense of masculinity. It's something like that there is an inherent resiliency, that there is an inherent strength, that there is an inherent grounding experience that happens through that. But without the I about it, without the ego-ness about it, it just is. It's just a presence. It's just a strength.
Yeah.
That's one way of expressing of what we call masculinity.